thing going on. The Lone Ranger hits theaters this Wednesday, and our own Mark DiCarlo sat down with the hunky actor ladies, Armie Hammer, who stars in the film alongside Johnny Depp. Take a look.
From the great beyond, a vision told me a great warrior would help me on my quest. One who has been to the other side and returned.
All I know is that a man killed my brother. If we ride together, we ride for justice.
Justice is what I seek.
You got famous playing twins, and now you're playing the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Any trepidation taking on this role just because of its iconic status here in America?
Not really. I mean, I'm sure there was in the beginning phases of developing this project, but so much of that work had been done by Jerry and Johnny when they started working on this project back in 2006.
Right.
And then Gore got involved, and Justin Haith, and all those guys. So by the time it got to me, it seemed ready to go, and all I had to kind of do was say the words.
Well, and the character is different than people will remember from the television show.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of an origin story, right?
Right.
Did you do any research into the actual Texas Rangers of the day? And if so, where'd you get the information? What'd you discover?
There's a great Texas Ranger museum in Texas.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of Texas Ranger museums. There's a good one in Waco. There's a smaller one in San Antonio. Went to those. Got my hands on some great old books about Texas Rangers. I mean, there are some really colorful characters. There was one Texas Ranger named Bigfoot Wallace, who was 6'5" and only rode a Mexican donkey. Didn't like horses.
So his feet dragged on the ground?
Pretty much, yeah.
And what separated the Texas Rangers of the day from other law enforcement guys? Were they kind of like the Navy SEALs of the time?
A little bit. Well, Texas Rangers just adapted more quickly than a lot of other people. So the Texas Rangers came out of a time when there was a lot of wars going on with the Native Americans, specifically the Comanche. And the Comanche were terrific fighters. If a Comanche brave was 300 miles away from you, they were in range. And that was farther than anybody could travel that day on a horse. I mean, it was really incredible what they were able to do. And you know, white men, when they would go chasing Indians, they'd go out right out in the middle of the desert, stop when they got tired, build a big fire, cook some food and all that. And one guy, Captain Jack, was like, "Are you guys out of your mind? Why are you building a big fire? You want to show them where you are? No, you don't get a fire. You're going to be tougher than the fire. And you don't get to do that." I mean, he basically developed the guerrilla warfare tactics that they used to help win the, American Indian Wars. Wow.
So that's the spine of your character. And then now you're out in the actual New Mexico in the Colorado desert, hanging out with Johnny Depp, making the Lone Ranger. What was that like? Was it rugged? Did you guys camp out at all? How did you develop the camaraderie? Because in the film, you guys are very funny together. There's a lot of action. How'd you work that?
You know what? I think it was just the kind of thing of, he's the easiest guy in the world to get along with, and he is a consummate professional, and he was here to make the best movie possible, and the same reason we were all here. Right. So it all just kind of worked out. You know, we really hit it off the bat and wanted to make a great movie. More
fun or more work? Because it looked like it could be really gritty.
Yeah.
Exhausting.
Oh, dude, I mean, it was sometimes 15 to 18-hour days of work, 5-6 days a week, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it wasn't that much fun also. It was too much fun sometimes.
Before you started making the movie, everyone got to go to cowboy camp, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Everyone had to go.
Were you a star at cowboy camp, or were you, were they praying that you were going to make it?
Oh, they were definitely praying I was going to make it, but I think I was one of the few people, I think, who went into it with prior horseback riding experience. I'd ridden in other movies and kind of ridden in my personal life and all that, so I had a baseline of, I can ride a horse, which was helpful, so then they could just build on that.
And the comedy, is that happening on set? Do they put that together in the edit bay? Were you guys fun and funny together?
Yeah, it was. I mean, the only thing they did in the edit bay was probably put stuff together where we weren't just like laughing and joking and goofing around in between takes. It was the kind of thing where the comedy was done. It was great. I mean, if it was a turkey, the bird was cooked, and it was perfect. But at the same time, sitting down in a room and writing jokes on a page is very different than standing in the middle of the desert and having to rework them and figure out what works. So there was like some improv and figuring things out. But for the most part, we had such a good script that we just used that.
Well, I think you guys walked a great line between honoring the original and invigorating it with new characters and new excitement, and the action sequences are fantastic. I'm sure it's going to be very successful. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you.
Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
For the Lone Ranger.
Yes, you look like the Catwoman.
Do I? Yeah. Yes. I'm thinking about taking this home to play around with.
I feel like...
With the kids. I was thinking. I didn't play with my children.
Okay, all right. right. Hey, coming up, Joel Quenneville is going to be here. Rocky Works is going to be here. I'm hearing they have a huge surprise.
Oh, Brian, don't do this to us.
That's what I'm hearing.
But next, Michael Jordan is here.
Yes, Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
That's right. That's right. Come right back. Wendy's 3 Live.